It's playing. It's
Okay.
recording.
I know. Hey guys, it's Jenny with Creature Cove, and today you're gonna feed some geckos with me. We'll go from start to finish. I'll explain how I do things along the way, and we'll just have some fun. I keep our crested gecko diet food in the fridge,
as it's recommended.
and I will show you exactly what we use. I switch between two main, like their staple diets, which is the Pangea. It's kind of like the original, it's just the Pangea with insects, and the Pangea growth and breeding. I love it. And then once in a while, I'll like throw in a fruit flavored one, which I think technically they are full balanced diets for them, but I kind of call them my treat. They're treats. I use them as treats basically, like once in a while, just throw a treat food in there for them. But these two work very well. I've never had any issues with them, and they all eat them. Sometimes when I use the fruit ones, some eat them, some don't. So I make sure that they get what they like. Also, I got yelled at last time, but one person decided to tell me that you can't use, or that you shouldn't use extra calcium powder if it's a balanced diet, but I do. I do add some. I was told by some very good breeders that that's what they do. Also, they use calcium. I have breeding geckos and I have growing geckos, like our baby hatchling geckos that need calcium to grow. They need the extra calcium. And same with my breeding geckos. They use their calcium gets depleted and they need extra calcium. So even though you're probably fine with just using the gecko diet, I personally add this. You can if you want, you don't have to. Mine is the Zoomed Repticalcium, and it's with D3. So, and I don't add a lot. I'll show you. Let's pick what we want to feed today. Finn, usually I just go back and forth, but I actually forgot which one I think I did a fruit one last time. Finn, which one should I feed, red or gray? Red. We're going with the red bag with insects. Perfect. I'm gonna give you some pro tips here while I do this. So, when you're making your food, I just use our regular filtered water. We have, our house is on a well, so we have well water, but we have a house filter, and then it gets filtered again through the fridge. And I feel comfortable and confident that they're getting their nutrients and stuff. And I use the tiniest bit of calcium powder. It's literally like, it just fills the bottom of the spoon. Did you see that? Yeah.
Just a sprinkle. That's all you need.
And I mix that in first. Now, for our pro tips, you're gonna love this one. Maybe not, but it works here. So I make the food thicker than it says. So on the package, it's gonna tell you, mix 1 part powder to 2 parts water. If you do it that way, it's going to be watery. It's gonna be pretty runny. And I have found after years of feeding these geckos, they don't really like it that runny. Like they don't eat as regularly when I do it that way. So I make it thicker than what they say. So I use a little bit more powder.
It's fine. It only costs $100 a bag. We're fine.
So I mix that in, and I don't really measure it. It's like old school cooking with your grandma here, let me tell you. I just mix it until all my lumpies are gone, and it's thick. So what else does it say on here I can share with you? Oh, it says on the bags to remove it after 24 hours. So like you make it, you stick it in their container, and then you take it out after a day. Pro tip, don't take it out after a day. Don't come at me, but if you talk to a lot of people who have been doing this for a long time, they will actually leave it in for like 2 to 3 days. If you make it thicker, it won't mold like the runny stuff does because of all the water that's in there. It will just cause the food to mold. And if you make it a little bit thicker, for some reason, your food won't mold. And they eat it much more regularly after a few days, after like this, on the second day. Rarely will mine eat it the first day I put it in there. They're going after it that second day, sometimes that third day if I do leave it in that long. I don't know why. I think it has to do with the thickness. I'm going back to the thickness. They just seem to like it better. And you can see their little tongue marks in there, and it's super adorable when it's thick like that. So, okay, so now I'm gonna work on this. Give me a sec. Ooh, I do wanna mention one more thing while I'm mixing. So if you're using the red bag, the with insects ones, you can mix it down till it's pretty darn smooth so you don't have any powder lumps in there. The gray bag, the growth and breeding, if you use it, you will notice it is a little bit like lumpier, but it's yummy lumps. It's not like you just didn't mix the powder in well enough. It just happens to be, it looks a little bit lumpy, but it's totally normal. It's like there's chunks of healthy goodness in it, is basically what that is, I think. Okay, back to mixing.
I mix and I smoosh. I smoosh up against the wall as I'm mixing.
Also, I think I forgot to mention, I use my son's old baby spoons for this because I'll hand feed my hatchling geckos and the ones I'm growing up because I'm lame like that. And it helps with handling a lot. Like my geckos love to be handled. Like I have no frog butts, all of my babies have tails, and I swear like that's the key. Handle them out of the egg, man, and they're not skittish. Mine aren't skittish, they don't run from people most of the time. Sometimes it takes a minute, you get them out and they might be like, ah, but then it works. And I'll give you some pro tips for handling in a little bit too when I start feeding. All right, I think we're chunkless, or about as chunkless as we're gonna get. And this is how thick I do it, so it's nice globs. It's not too runny, it's pretty mucusy. Yay. Okay, we're doing good. Let me take you through our bowls. So I will use for our little hatchling geckos, super cheap, super convenient. I just throw them right in the dishwasher, are the silicone pop-top caps. And they're awesome, they're squishy, I like to squish them. So we'll use these for our hatchlings. And then I needed something a little bit bigger for our like growing out, like our holdbacks that we're keeping and we're letting grow. So I needed something a little bigger than this. So I just use our, my husband and I love Pure Leaf tea, and these are the lids to the Pure Leaf teas, and they're like the perfect size. So I use those, and then I just also throw them in the washing machine.
Washing machine?
In the dishwasher after they use them. So, and then I've got our bigger geckos that I use, you know, a variety of larger bowls, the kind that like stick to the walls and the little cups go in them. I reuse these cups, and guys, they're dishwasher safe. I have like one of those dishwashers that have the top row, and I just set these up on that little top row, and I can reuse them. So I have never gone through an entire box of these little things. So money saving tip, we love money saving tips. Okay, I think we've got everything we need. Let's head over to the hatchlings. Okay, so here we are. I start with our hatchling geckos, and I do want to add in a disclaimer here. I should have done it at the beginning, but this is what we do here and what works for us. These are things that I have put the time and the energy and the effort into actually researching. I've done it this way for a long time. It works really well for us. People do things different all the time. I just know that this is how it works for us. So with that being said, I have my helper Finn here. He is our resident gecko handler, and part of the reason why our geckos are used to literally everything. Plus we have dogs. So we have dogs. I have 3 boys, 2 of them are teenagers. They have friends over. They have, like, our life is crazy, crazy and chaotic. And I have our geckos in our main living area, so they get used to literally everything right out of the egg. So I feel like nothing scares them. People say that crested geckos will drop their tail at the drop of a dime. I don't believe that. It takes a lot of stress for a gecko to drop their tail. Like they have to feel like their life is truly threatened and they could die to drop their tail. So I like starting mine out straight out of the egg with chaos in their life, and they get used to it and they're fine with it. And I've never had a tailless gecko. So So here we go with our process. So I will start with our first one. I also wanted to mention all of these babies are available at, well, not all of them, the ones that are old enough to be shipped are available at www.thecreaturecove.com. So let's start with our newest baby. Baby was hatched on 10/3 of 24. Where are you at? So I start by getting our baby out. So our teeny babies, and normally I'm sitting on the floor to do this, but so you guys can see I'm up here. I will take out their dirty bowl. Oh, you went into your dirty bowl. And get their clean bowl. Fill their little cup with a dollop of food and set it in there. I feed them we're already starting with the mess and I haven't even fed a gecko yet. I feed them every other day. So I leave it in there, and same with our big geckos. I will leave the food in there for both days and then change it out with new stuff and feed them also. So this is why I sit on the floor. Boo-boo-boo. So I just touch their little nose with the food. And the tiny baby hatchlings, it'll usually take them a second to like, what is that? Why is it on my face? And then naturally they lick it up because they don't want it on their face like that. So they'll lick and then they'll realize, oh, that's delicious, like she just did. And there we go. And now we're happily eating our crested gecko diet. And of course, as teeny babies like this, they aren't gonna eat a whole lot. It's just gonna be a few licks and then they will be done. Get your fill. And then I will pass them off to my son and they will get their playtime. Boop-a-doo-boo. Good girl, Athena. Boop. All right, and then we shall move on. Pull out the dirty bowl, enter the clean bowl. Eventually it works like a fine oiled machine, you know what I mean? And life is good. Find our baby. Boo, boo, boo. There you are. So this baby was born on Leap Day, so we named him Leap, which is hilarious because they also jump everywhere. So this is Leap. Come here, baby. Woohoo! You're a crazy baby today. Oh, you stay with yours. So I don't know if I said this before, but the younger babies who haven't had a whole lot of time being handled can still be a little crazy at times, but they settle down super, super quickly. And we're already eating a good amount. People ask me why I hand feed all the geckos and take all the time, because you don't need to. And you're right, you don't need to. I just do it because I think they then associate you with something good. And I don't know if they're smart enough to realize that like dogs would, but they associate you with something good, and they sure as heck get used to being handled doing this. And it just makes for a really good gecko in the long run. They're well-rounded, they're okay with being handled, they're okay with chaos, and they just seem very, very chill. And I like that for new pet owners, especially if it's like a kid's first pet. You don't want to give them a gecko that could bite them and then drop their tail, go crazy. I've had a gecko that bites. It's not fun. All right, and normally we spend more time, but for the video, we're just switching out quick. Okay, so for any of you guys watching this video that also had been keeping track of Quasimodo, my like two-faced gecko that passed, this is his sibling Apollo, and he's doing fabulously. He's actually one of my favorite geckos. He is super chill and like very perfect.
I just love him so much.
This is his little Fezziwig. He was a Christmas baby. I have almost the whole collection of A Christmas Carol character cast here. So this one's Fezziwig. So another kind of controversial topic is cricket feeding with geckos, or bug feeding, I should say. I actually don't do it all the time, like as a regular diet. A lot of people who get geckos don't want to deal, or they didn't get geckos because they don't want to deal with the bug feeding. And that's kind of why I feed my geckos more often than most people would. Some people do it every like 3-4 days, and I offer it every other day. But I also do, when I do like my deep cleanings and stuff, I'll put a bunch of crickets in the bin that I put the gecko in while I'm cleaning, and none of them ever take the crickets anyway. So, I mean, obviously if I see, I haven't had this issue yet, luckily, but if I ever see one of my geckos looking emaciated, or just that they're not doing very well, they're not on a healthy weight or anything like that, I will obviously change what I'm doing for that particular gecko. But again, there are a lot of breeders out there who don't do live bugs. I also don't, some people do it just to grow their geckos super fast. I also don't like doing that. So I let my guys grow as they need to, and we always end up with big, healthy babies that live a great life. Okay, so here we are about 2.5, 3 hours later, and we are on to the large adult geckos. So here we have all of our breeders and our holdbacks that we're growing out. And I also want to show you, like, I was talking about the crickets earlier. So I have crickets in here, and like on days that I clean them out, I'll put a bunch of crickets in the bin, that just like a little Rubbermaid with holes all in it. You know, a Rubbermaid bin, holes. Stick the crickets in there, and then when I clean, I take the geckos out, put them in here with the crickets, and if they want to eat, they can. If they don't want to, they don't have to. So I try, I guess. Okay, so for our adults, it's kind of basically the same thing as the little guys, except it's more food in each dish. So they have bigger dishes, and I'll feed them depending on, like, some of ours actually have 3 geckos in there. Like, this is a colony of 3 in here, so I will give them a few feeding opportunities. I'll put one bowl like on one side of the tank and one bowl on the other side of the tank, so that if like the female was trying to be sneaky so that she didn't have to do anything that day, she can get to food wherever she's at. So let's start with that. I'll give them like quite a bit. My geckos don't lack on food. So I showed you that I use the Pangea food, and I actually religiously only use the Pangea food. I have tried the Repeshi and the Zoo Med versions of their gecko diets, and I don't know if you guys have had the same experience, and I don't mean to say anything bad, it's just what the experiences I've had with them. If you like them, awesome, because they have some great flavors and some fun things. However, I find that they do mold very quickly. I've actually had them mold before the 24 hours that they say to pull it out. So again, I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong with those foods, but both brands I just haven't been able to keep for 24 hours, if that. Oh, okay, wait, that one only has 2 geckos in it. I also, look at this, guys. I don't know if you can see it that great. This is not, these aren't crested geckos, these are my Chihuahua geckos. But oh my gosh, I did a second naturalistic enclosure with them. It's my second one I've ever done, and I was so excited with it. I'm slowly, I think, gonna try to transition all of the geckos to the naturalistic look, but it is expensive. So I'm sure there's cheaper ways to do it, but I like using the soil and stuff that is good for them. And you know it's not toxic in any way, has all the right things, doesn't have the things it shouldn't have. So I just buy like the expensive reptile stuff. Guys, I have to bust in here real fast again because I forgot another pro tip. When you're gonna handle your geckos, even if you're not feeding, if you just wanna handle them, do it during the day. Like I started feeding at around 11 a.m. It's like 1:30 now. So like they are nocturnal, so they are sleepy tired, and they're a lot easier to handle during the day, and you can get through it a lot faster. I've tried doing it at night before, and they're crazy. They have so much energy. They're just very awake. I have had so many babies jump right into my food, and it's very scary. So feed during the day. If you're gonna feed like I do, like hand feeding everybody, it's definitely easier during the day. They can concentrate, they focus better when they're sleepy tired and hungry sleepy. So anyway, just wanted to tell you that. It makes life so much easier. Remember I also told you about our one gecko that we have that bites? It's a challenge for me to get food in here and out of here without him spotting me. So it's a challenge I take very seriously because I'll lose fingers. Just kidding. Oh, look at it. He is literally already there. I've been sitting here for 2 seconds and he knew it and he's ready to pounce. He's gonna eat me, I'm sure of it. Oh, guys. Why do I end up with the ones that just wanna eat me? I wanted to check for babies, but you're not gonna let me. Can I just put this in here? Give me a sec. He comes right out at you. It's very scary. All right, I'm just gonna put it in here. Mr. Gecko. I wonder if I can scare him up or get him up over here. Oh, he's so smart. All right, I'm moving on. I'll come back. I promise, I'll feed him. He's got 2 girlfriends in there because he's a very pretty gecko and he has beautiful babies. But it's those things. This is not a crested gecko. This is another Chihuahua baby that we're growing up. But I do offer our Chihuahuas crested gecko diet too because they like it. I do feed my Chihuahuas crickets though, just for if any of you are Chihuahua people thinking that I don't feed them crickets. I do. That's why I have so many crickets. Okay, and then to our last, or not last, but we have Gyoza, who's very cute and stuck right here. Oh, you guys can't really see me. All right, so everybody's fed except for Sushi and his girls. Guys, the look on it, I'm sure he's out for me. He just looks crazed and angry. This was not one of my babies. I actually bought him for breeding. Unbeknownst to me, he was crazy and evil. All right, so he's got 2 girls, so there's 3 geckos in here. I'm going to give them 2 bowls of food in different locations. All right, so I'm gonna try just opening the cage and see what he does. Chances, oh God, is he evil. Oh my gosh, and so smart. Look at him, oh, come on, man. What if I just open it? Will you just let me live? Gotta be quick. Woo! Oh, how am I even, can I check for babies? Oh, can I check for babies? I'm coming in. Ah! Oh, guys. Oh my God. He's bit me before and it doesn't feel good. So Do you want to come out? Maybe if you're here. I'm gonna block him with this coffee mug. You can get angry at the coffee mug. I'm gonna steal your babies, if you have any. I give it a quick check for eggs. They would be at the bottom, like you'd be able to see them. And there's nothing in this one. Let's put the coffee cup back in. Oop, I just booped him. I booped you. Can I get to your other dwelling? Oh, you don't like the coffee cup? That's perfect. Oh God. I know, it's super lame to be scared of a gecko, but I am lame. Let's move you. Come back here. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Check for babies. No babies. Sorry guys, I was really hoping I'd be able to catch some eggs for you, but no such luck today. All right, evil being. Put this back in. Ooh, I'm getting so close to your face. Can you ooh, there we go. Yeah, you go somewhere else. Where's all your girlfriends? Hiding from you probably. There. All right, and then we just have one more gecko, but he's like on the other side of the room, so I'll just do him once I let you guys go. Okay, so that's everybody except we have one more male, a lonely male. Oh no, I have our little guy, Fig, up there. Okay, so I have 2 more to feed. I will just go ahead and do that off camera since this is getting long, but I did want to do another gecko feeding because I think there was I did another video, but I think there was some things that I missed, and I also wanted to share like my little pro tips with you guys. So yeah, I hope this might have helped anybody who had questions about gecko feeding. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. I always answer my questions. And if you have any suggestions or anything like that that might make life easier for somebody who has lots of geckos, leave those down there. And also check out our website, www.thecreaturecove.com, for our available babies. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.